Hello everyone, and welcome back to the 3T Path channel, and welcome back to our Uddhava-gita course. Now we are here doing this wonderful chapter on Jnana Yoga, on the power of knowledge to enlighten you and show you the path. And today what we're going to be doing is going back and finishing our review of those 15 top bhakti-yoga practices Krishna is teaching Uddhava out of love, he said to Uddhava. He's showing him these 15 powerful top bhakti-yoga practices. We're going to go through that again because we just started and we stopped in the middle, and then we're going to read the comments and then we'll go on from there. So, and of course, if you want to watch all the previous Uddhava-gita classes, all you have to do is become a member of this channel, and the instructions are here in the description of the video. And then you go to Uddhava-gita.com, where you can see the entire course, which now has over 110 classes. Okay, so we're in the 11th canto, 19th chapter, verses 20 to 24, and Krishna listed these 15 top bhakti yoga qualities. Let's just read the verse again and go through them. Firm faith in the blissful narrations of my pastimes, constant chanting of my glories, unwavering attachment to ceremonial worship of me, praising me through beautiful hymns, great respect for my devotional services, offering obeisances with the entire body, performing first-class worship of my devotees, consciousness of me in all living entities, offering of ordinary bodily activities in my devotional service, use of words to describe my qualities, offering the mind to me, rejection of all material desires, giving up wealth for my devotional service, renouncing material sense gratification and happiness, and performing all desirable activities such as charity, sacrifice, chanting, vows, and austerities with the purpose of achieving me. These constitute actual dharmic principles by which those human beings who have actually surrendered themselves to me automatically develop love for me. What other purpose or goal could remain for my devotee? So let's continue with this list. So in the last class we went through this, we read this, and we went kind of halfway through this list of qualities, and so let's take it up from there. But let's stop here first and ask ourselves, why are we even doing these? Again, so what does Krishna say? If you do these, you will automatically develop love for me. Now, why would you want to develop love for Krishna? Who cares about Krishna? Who cares about love? Well, love is the topmost status of consciousness. So as a soul, as consciousness, your topmost state is that of love. And you probably, I hope you've experienced love in some form or another in your life. And you know how that is actually the topmost feeling, the topmost state of consciousness is love. Now, the problem with love is, well, there are two problems. One is like yourself, like how much can I love, right? So we have we limit our ability to love. The more selfish we are, the lower our consciousness, the less ability we have to love. So we have one problem on our end, but there's also the problem on the other end. Who are you loving? What's the object of your love? Sometimes people love objects sometimes, but I mean in the sense of like, who is, if it's a person or if it's a thing, what are you loving? Who or what are you loving? So that's also a problem, because you've experienced this in your life as well. We can love, and the thing or person we're loving doesn't really quite, live up to all that love we were directing them, right? They turn out to be they also turn out to have, be selfish and limited and mean and whatever. And so your love is like, it just fizzles out. You wanted to love, but who are you going to love, right? So you get limited. So what we have here, what the path of spirituality was offering you is like, look, will teach you how to purify your own self, because you have to work on yourself. So there's the whole self-improvement part of a spiritual path. That's why my book, The 3T Path, is called 3T Path. Self-improvement and self-realization yoga. Because first you have to, there's the part of self-improvement. You just have to work on yourself. So there's things you have to do. You have to change even what you eat and how you take care of your body and how you live and hygiene. So there's things to do to improve, just to improve yourself. And then there's dharma, purpose, and then of course the higher things, mindfulness, and then you actually jnana and bhakti. So there's all these different things you have to do, self-improvement and self-realization. So you work on yourself. So we get this beautiful, all the details, everything is explained. Krishna gave everything, explained everything, and put everything in a 3T Path book. So everything is set up nicely. Like, first I have to work on myself, because there's no point, if you don't work on yourself, it doesn't matter who or what you're going to love, because you're not qualified yet. So you work on yourself. So that's one thing. So we take care of that problem. But then, what about the other one? Who or what are we going to love? And of course, you're going to love your family, your wife, your kids. You can try that, and your mother, father. But sometimes that doesn't work out very well, right? So people have loved husbands who turn out to be cretins, or try to love wives who turn out to be, also problematic. And children too. Children can be horrible. You can pour all that love into children, and they grow up to be horrible. And you have a terrible experience. Parents can be horrible. So, that's how it works. Friends, sometimes you just don't get friends, it's all complicated, right? It's like everybody's like stressed out, everybody's having too many issues, and life is too difficult, so it's complicated. So we just try to love. And that's why people have pets, right? Dogs and cats, they're easier to love. But anyway, but then it's just a dog and a cat. I have a dog, but and I love my dog, but there are limits to how much that love will fill your heart with bliss. So there are limits to how much love we can pour out, because the object of our love, they're flawed. To be honest, they're just flawed, because they're incarnated beings in matter, so just by definition, they're flawed. But with spirituality, you have access to the most perfect being, God. The absolutely non-flawed being, the only absolutely perfect being there is. And Krishna means the all-attractive. Krishna is all-attractive. And the nature of God is that God is infinitely attractive. What does that mean? That means that as you pour your love, like in other people, you might have had experiences where you poured your love, and then that was it. There was a limit. That was just so much. The person has their limitations. So you pour the love, and a lot of times there's like a decreasing curve, because there wasn't that much there. But with God, the more love you can direct, the more you will experience, because God is infinitely attractive. Krishna, infinitely attractive. So the more love you put in, the more you can get, and you can put more love, and then you can get more, you get more. There is no end. It is by definition infinite. So that's why you want to develop love for God, at least from the very selfish, just like what's going to be better for you, never mind what's correct, what's reality, what is, but just as your own experience, you'll do well for yourself to love God, to develop, to take this path, because with God, and also with God, there's a special advantage with God. Because we're loving consciousness. This is conscious in contact with another conscious. That's what real love means, right? But the problem is, in this material world where we're still incarnated, we are consciousness trapped in matter. And the other person, the object of our love, is also conscious trapped in matter. And between these two consciousnesses, there is matter in the way. So communication gets hard, difficult, there's all these problems with one consciousness reaching the other consciousness. And of course, there's death. So when things are really going well, then you get death. And then that person, poof, is out of sight, gone. You don't have access anymore to that consciousness. It's gone. But with God, God is within you, Paramatma. It's Atma and Paramatma, soul and super soul. So with God, God is the only person with whom you have direct contact with. Consciousness to consciousness. No matter. No material stuff in between. It's the only consciousness you have access to now. And you've always had access to. And death won't stop it because it's got no material stuff in between. So death won't do anything because death only affects the material stuff. It doesn't affect your consciousness. You continue. So with God, you can have this perfect contact, relationship, 24 hours a day with no barriers whatsoever. So it's very much worth it developing your love of God. So, how do we do it? We do it with these 15 qualities. Now, I went through some of these in the last class. You can check that out. So let's continue where I think I stopped. I could get this wrong, but it's okay. So, we talked about consciousness of me and all living entities. That's also very nice because we're talking about how you have Atma and Paramatma. Well, God is within you, so you have this direct contact with God, consciousness to consciousness. Well, God is within all living beings. So, of course, as you're aware of your direct contact with God within you, you should also be aware that God is within all living entities. Okay, offering of ordinary bodily activities in my devotional service. What does that mean? That means, different definitions of what that means, but it just means whatever you do. Krishna's one of the most important teachers in Bhagavad-gita, he says to Arjuna, whatever you do, do that as an offering unto me. So it's the simplest things, if it's just like taking care of your body, cleaning the bathroom, taking your kids to school, chopping vegetables to make your lunch. Everything you do, paying your taxes, whatever you're doing, do that as an offering unto Krishna. This is the central practice of Bhagavad-gita, of Krishna's teachings, which makes it completely accessible. It's not about, oh no, there's a special ritual you have to do, and you have to do these things, and you have to have this paraphernalia for the ritual. No. Oh no, there's this thing you do only on Sundays, or on Saturday, or whatever holy day you choose. No, it's all the time. Whatever you do, that's your spiritual offering. Your whole life is your spiritual offering. This is the beauty of this path of bhakti-yoga. Everything you do, you go to work, you clean you take a shower, you organize your wardrobe, everything you do, that is an offering unto Krishna, that is bhakti. So you do those things in bhakti. Next, use of words to describe my qualities. So, like right now I'm using words to describe Krishna's qualities. So just use your words, express yourself, tell people about Krishna, write poetry, or write an essay, or give a class, or write a book, or write a novel. Just use words to tell people, the importance of them connecting. Share this goodness, because it's available to everyone. That's the other beautiful thing of it. It doesn't matter what you have, because it's consciousness to consciousness within you. So it's got nothing to do, not even with your body, what to speak of what's around your body. It really is for everyone, and everyone can have access to it 24 hours a day. You could be in a gulag, you could be in a concentration camp, and you can have direct access to God and experience love. So we should tell people, we should use our words and also our art, whatever means, to express and share this beautiful culture. Offering the mind to me. Now this is extremely important. You'll see this in Bhagavad-gita over and over again. Krishna says, mind and intelligence fixed on me. Over and over again. So mind and intelligence fixed on me. So that if you see the prayers of all the great saints and all the great, devotees, the great gurus, their prayers are always, please Krishna, let my mind be fixed on you. Let your lotus feet be in my mind always. So always this desire, please don't let my mind, it's so stupid, my mind is insane and it goes to crazy places. No, I want my mind to be fixed on your lotus feet. I want your lotus feet to be in my mind always. Always be in my mind, please. Because it's so nice when you have Krishna in your mind, it just feels good. But then your mind is distracted and then you go back, it's like, why did I get distracted? So you're begging Krishna. You want to have your mind and your intelligence always fixed on Krishna. It's very important. And of course, these 15 practices, they help you to do that. By following all these different bhakti-yoga practices, especially the first ones we heard, firm faith in my blissful narrations of my pastimes, constant chanting of my glories. And of course we do I recommend and I practice japa meditation, where you're doing the holy names of Krishna with the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that kind of practice, you're always the Krishna's holy names, you're doing your japa every day, you're reading Krishna's instructions and activities, you're sharing them. So all these practices, of course, will keep Krishna in your mind. The deity and, paintings on the walls with Krishna. These things help you. The tulasi necklace, these things connect you to Krishna. So you want to have your mind always fixed on Krishna, but there's these techniques, there's these little tricks you can use to maintain that connection. But you definitely want to offer your mind to Krishna. Now, so that's the nice stuff. But what about, what else can I do? What's you have the positive instructions and the negative instructions, they say. So stuff you should do and stuff you shouldn't do. So here's some of the stuff you shouldn't do. Rejection of all material desires. So now what happens? What does that even mean, rejection of material? That's very confusing. I remember I got very confused when I started 30 years ago, what does it mean, rejection of material desires? How is that even possible? But you have to understand, what this means, rejection of material desires, doesn't mean what you might think it means. What it means is that your guiding principle is now not desire. So the word for desire is kama in Sanskrit. So we always have this word kama, K-A-M-A, kama, as in Kama Sutras you might have heard of. So kama is desire. Now what is kama balance out? Well, what's the opposite of kama? If you don't have kama ruling you, what is ruling you? So it's dharma. That's what it is. So kama, so when Krishna says renouncing material desires, that means don't be a materialist. Don't be a crass materialist. We'll be focusing on desire. I want to buy this product. I want to have that position in society. I want to experience this or that with this sense and with that sense. I want to hear that. I want to see that. I want to touch that. So these things are the guiding principles. So when you give up, so these are desires. I really want to have sex with that person. I want to own that, device. I want to have that house, whatever. I want to be in that position. So these are material desires. And why are they so bad? Because they're a complete trap. They're what I call the fantasy paradigms. In the 3T path, I talk about the fantasy paradigm versus the reality paradigm. Now, the fantasy paradigm is you with these desires. Part of it is you with these desires to the future, thinking that those things are going to make you happy. But they're actually not, because, again, the whole point here is that those things won't make you happy. What will make you happy is love. What you need is love. It's love that will make you happy. And again, the whole explanation I gave in the beginning of the class, you got the right object of love, so you want to love God. So if you're going for desires, you're not going for love. It's like a different thing. It's a different field. You're just going a different path. Either you're traveling south or you're traveling north. You can't travel north and south at the same time. It's just a different path. So by desires, your mind gets intoxicated. When people live their lives with karma as their guide, they will cheat, they will lie, they will hurt themselves, they will kill, they will and then the mind just gets full of anxiety. Krishna said, this is the mode of passion. You get full of anxiety. And that anxiety leads to unhappiness, and you're stressed out, and everything is and it's fake. That's what Krishna came to tell us. That's what all these scriptures tell us. This is all fake. The material world is illusory. So you're putting all your energy into something which is dead, which is fake, which is an illusion. So that doesn't work out well. That won't have a good result. It doesn't feel good while you're doing it, and it certainly won't end well. It won't end well at all. So people are trying to desire, and then they die, and then you start again, and then you die. And meanwhile, you're suffering, you're getting old age, disease, and you don't get the desire, and then you get angry and frustrated, and then when you get it, it wasn't even that good anyway. It was kind of a pain, and immediately you have another 10 desires to replace that desire. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So by giving up material desires, it means you're gonna let that crazy mentality just stop. And you're gonna focus on something that's real. You're gonna start experiencing consciousness and being in the here and now, which is the fantasy paradigm versus the reality paradigm. You're gonna experience reality. You're gonna be in the reality paradigm. Experiencing existence, connection, and especially love of God. And then you focus on Dharma. So this gap, karma versus Dharma. So that's what Krishna is talking about. Giving up wealth for my devotional service. So giving up wealth, again, it's not that you have to be poor. You can see, Uddhava's in a palace. He's rich. Arjuna was pretty much the emperor. The Pandavas, they were the emperors of the whole planet Earth. You'll see other people in the Bhagavad Purana who are emperors of planet Earth, great kings. So, endless wealth. So it's not about being poor. There's no vote of poverty. There's no, there's no need for that. But giving up wealth means just what's your purpose? What is your main goal? My main goal is to please Krishna. So if for that, I'll definitely I'll make a nice altar. I'll buy nice flowers. Maybe you'll help build a temple. Maybe you'll help print books. You'll help share. You'll help people who are sharing this knowledge nicely. So that's what it means. Giving up wealth. Just use your financial power as you're using everything else for Krishna. Renouncing material sense gratification and happiness. So you're just giving up on that stuff. Again, it's pretty similar to rejection of all material desires. You don't want to cultivate material desires, which is something in the future. And even in the present, you're not guided by sense gratification and material happiness. These things aren't your guiding principles. Your guiding principle is pleasing Krishna. You want Krishna in your mind, you want to make Krishna happy, and Dharma. You want to do everything within Dharma. So you don't want to just do something that feels good if it's not dharmic. You're certainly not going to do something just because you think it's nice if it's going to make you forget Krishna. If it's going to be contrary to your values. So you don't sacrifice your honor, your values for pleasure, which Unfortunately, a lot of people do. So Krishna says you renounce these things. Then, all the nice stuff you do, which is, all the things that are considered uplifting, charity, yagyas, chanting, doing japa, doing vows, doing austerities, tapas, everything that you do, all those things people do, like, give charity, be nice, all those nice things you do to uplift yourself. But you'll do these things with the purpose of achieving me. So you're not doing it separately, you're not doing charity just because you want people to appreciate what a charitable person you are. Or you're not doing some austerity just so, you can prove that you're able to, or you can, like I'll be more powerful. No, not for you. It's all for Krishna. It's all for achieving Krishna. And this point, this is a very important point, everything you're doing is for achieving Krishna. So then, that's the guiding principle. So for example, there's always historically been the path of the renunciate. So you can renounce everything, like loincloth, go live under a tree. The only possession is a staff and a water pot. So that's the path of sannyas, total renunciation, like proper, not this modern version of sannyas where everybody's like living in a beautiful house and traveling first class. No, like the proper Vedic sannyas, where you just, you've got a walking stick and a water pot. That's it. And there's absolutely no home, and you're walking barefoot all over the world. Of course, these days you couldn't even do that, you get arrested. But anyway, so there's that path. But then you have to ask yourself, are you doing that for the purpose of achieving Krishna? Is that necessary for achieving Krishna? It's not. It's not. And that's why Arjuna didn't take sannyas. That's why, Dhruva Maharaj didn't take sannyas. That's why you don't have to take sannyas. And the gopis didn't take sannyas. Why? Because that didn't help achieve Krishna. In fact, I can please Krishna more with some structure. So I can have a nice altar, I can have, buy flowers, I can make nice food, I can have his pictures on the wall. So I can actually be more in contact with Krishna. I have a camera so I can tell people about Krishna. I have a computer so I can share information, and a phone so I can help my students. So by having things, I can actually please Krishna more than by not having them. Because so everything you do, the only guiding principle is, will it help me achieve Krishna? Will it help me please Krishna? Because everything I'm doing, I want to do these things for the purpose of pleasing Krishna, of keeping him in my mind. So that's the guiding principle. So those are the 15 principles. I thought I was going to have time to finish them and read the purport, but I didn't. So I'm going to have to come back, and next class we'll at least read the purport. It's not a long purport, but we'll just read this purport, and then so we can move on to the next verses. But I hope you enjoy these two classes focused on these top 15 bhakti yoga practices, because they're very powerful, very important, and help you give your sense of how to, unlock this treasure chest of spiritual love. Have the rest of your day with lots of peace and lots of love. Hare Krishna.